Hi guys, welcome back to another GGF quick look video. So today we're taking a look at the Cougar 550M Gaming Mouse. Now this is a relatively new mouse. I have just received this. I haven't even taken the clear wrapping off, so I'll take that off now so you're not going to get affected by glare. So now this isn't a review, this is just going to be my quick look, my first impressions of this mouse. I like to try and do both, like a quick look, because it's always interesting to see how your perception of something changes from when you first see it to once you use it for a few weeks. So what I'll do is I'll see what I think about this mouse now, just how it looks and feels, and then I'll use the software. It does use the same UIX system that the previous Cougar mice and keyboards use, like the 700M and the 700K, so that's pretty sweet how it's integrated with that. And then later on I'll do more of a review and see if my thoughts have changed after using it for quite a while. So some of the standout features for this one, definitely we can see we've got some RGB functions in there. I looked on the back, it says some 2-zone lighting, so that's pretty sweet. We've got a more sort of traditional design. I'm not sure if you noticed that some of the more recent Cougar mice, they're having some crazy designs. I think their 700M had a few adjustable parts and stuff like that, but this one's more sort of your traditional standard design. You could probably use this multi-handed bar, the thumb keys on the side there. So let's have a quick look at what we are getting here. So on the back, some of the main features are it's a 6400 DPI. So the sensor on this mouse is the SDNS 3988 optical gaming sensor. So it is optical, it's not laser. Now this sensor has been found on the Death Adder 2013 mouse, so Cougar definitely haven't skimped out on the sensor. A lot of people think that Cougar are a relatively cheaper brand because they used cheaper sensors and things like that, but this is not the case. They are using a good sensor. And when we're talking about prices, this mouse comes in at $69, so it is a competitively priced mouse. We got a 32-bit ARM processor. We have a trigger button. We'll look at that later on. When they talk about the trigger button, they talk about the center DPI button here, which I would think that's not a trigger button. When I'm thinking about a trigger button, I normally see one up here where your finger's going to be, because to get your finger onto this button is quite hard, but we'll have a look at that later on. 6 programmable buttons, 100 Hz polling rate, 512 kilobytes of onboard memory, multi-backlight system, 2-zone RGB, on-the-fly DPI adjustment. That's pretty sweet. Now you do have a 3-stage DPI LED display. Now a lot of mice these days are sort of removing that, but you can see on the side there that it does have the DPI indicators on the side. All right, we do have Omron grade micro switches, so that's pretty sweet on the side. They'll last for a long time. Gaming grade scroll wheel, anti-slip flanks. Okay, that's interesting. I'm assuming they're talking about, yeah, on the side there, that'll be some rubber. Gaming mouse feet and a braided cable. All right, so I won't spend any more time on this. Now, if you're looking at where you can get this mouse, it's just sort of come out over the last few weeks. Scorptech in Australia sell this, so scorptech.com.au, I believe. You can just find them on Google, and yeah, this is pretty much $69 across the board. All right, let's try and get this out without sort of destroying this. I do like to try and keep my boxes. Right, so you get this awesome little Cougar 500M, really small user manual. I don't think it folds out. I'm going to say I haven't seen one that small before. All right, so that's pretty sweet. We've got everything there to tell you how to use it. I'm pretty sure most people know how to use a mouse, but it's probably got some more detailed information. And we get some stickers. Cougar have been doing this recently. They throw on a few stickers with your gear. I'm just trying to work out how I can get this out without... All right, I'm just going to break this off here. It's only the inside of the box. I'm not too concerned. It was a bit tricky to get out. All right, so now this is the blue version. I do believe, yeah, metallic blue. So I do believe these are coming out in different colors. All right, so once again, it's wrapped up as well. All right. So this is the mouse here. What I'll do is I'll actually get a little bit closer so we can see how good this actually looks. Okay, so it's now out of the box. You might get a little bit of reflections on the top because it is a very, very sort of shiny surface. It's got a quite sort of metallic look to it, metallic sort of metal speckles sort of inside it. So having a once over on the mouse, you've got this grip on each side, very sort of like, hard to explain, kind of like a snake skin. It's not really rubberized, it's more of a much sort of more coarse rubber, but it does feel good in your hand. It is a nice size shape. It comes in at 122 grams. Now, there aren't any weights, but I feel 128 grams is a good weight for a mouse. And moving on, you can see the two side buttons there, so they're probably default back and forward. Before you configure it, you've got the 3 DPI LED indicator there, and then you've got the cord comes out the left side. Cougar have been doing this quite a bit on some of their mice. They come out of the left. Then you've got the scroll wheel. It does feel nice. And then you've also got the trigger button, which they say here, but if you actually notice, it doesn't push down, it actually pushes back. So I'll try and get that in. So when they said it's a trigger button, they really weren't wrong, because it actually does sort of feel like you're sort of firing something. Now, I'm not sure how easy that'll be when you got the mouse like this, and then you got to try and go like this, or like, can't even really do it like that, or like this. But I guess even just as a DPI button, it's still handy. Moving on to the bottom. You can see there, pretty sort of basic. It's got the model, but it's got a heap of feet around the back, a nice curved one, and then you got two huge ones here. Now these are gaming grade feet, and they do feel really nice. It feels very, very solid. It doesn't want to rock. I've had mice in the past where they tend to rock left and right only because of the way they're designed, and they don't give you enough padding on the bottom. So we'll just undo the cable. It is a nice braided cable, and they do say it's your standard 1.8 meters of length, and it's gold plated as well, as you can see just there. So what I'll do now is I'll plug this in and we'll see what we get. I'm not going to go into the software now. I'll play around with this. I'll probably take it to work for a bit, test it, see how it all goes, and then once I've got a bit more of an understanding, I'll come back and do a more of a review on how I've found the mouse after using it quite a few times, because I don't think I can give a review on an item by just unboxing it and telling you whether it's good or bad. But certainly, so far my thoughts for this mouse, I'm certainly thinking it is a good mouse so far. It's competitively priced. It's got some nice colors. It might not have the colors that suits everyone, but they do have other colors available. It's got a good sensor. It's got these really nice feet. It is a nice design. I know that mice these days are just getting wackier and wackier, and it is nice to have a nice mouse with just a nice refresh design on a more basic design. All right, so now looking at I wonder what comes as DPI. Yeah, so that one does come as DPI, so you can just see, I'll try and get it out of the light. You can just see it going through the DPI like that. So you can change that in the software if it's the same as the previous mice. Now you don't get the logo lighting up. I thought that might have lit up. And then you got down the bottom here, which is the RGB apparently. So we'll have a look at that later on in the next video. But yeah, so far it seems like a nice mouse. I'll test this out and see how it goes. I just want to thank Cougar for sending this out to test out, and thanks for watching, and stay tuned for next time.